Madaraka Day. Well, hapa kwetu si Madaraka Day but tulikuwa na Memorial Day juzi, so at least tuko ile katika mood ya holiday. Na leo nikasema nitatafuta wakili wetu siku ya leo because so many people wamekuwa wakinipigia simu sana, wananiambia Jeremy, tunataka kuja America, Jeremy, tunataka kuingia America. Wengine wamewin green card, hawajui wataanza wapi, and that is why I decided to do this show today. We call it Inspiration Thursday, but leo tukabadilisha kidogo, tutasema tutapeana information yenye inahitajika. And because tuko na lawyer wetu hapa, tunamwitanga Attorney Charles Wanjohi. And of course amesaidia watu wengi sana hapa diaspora, wenye wamefika hapa na wenye pia bado wanajaribu kufika hapa. Anawapatia legal advice, njia nzuri zenye unaweza pitia na usijipate kwenye matata. Na kama pia wamejipata kwa matata, yeye huwa anajaribu kusaidia ni jinsi gani anaweza kukusaidia wewe mwenyewe. So welcome, ambia rafiki yako if you have an interest of coming to the United States, ama uko hapa, ama uliwin green card, hujui utaanza wapi, ama uliwin ukakosa kupata bidhaa zenye zilihitajika, usitoke hapa kwa sababu niko na Attorney Charles Wanjohi hapa, na ningetaka nimvute hapa ndio tuweze kuanza zungumzo letu, na ndio angalau pia wewe ujue yale mambo ambayo unayahitaji sana kuyaelewa katika nchi hii yetu ya America. So Charles Wanjohi, Attorney, how are you?
I'm doing well, thanks.
Asante sana, good to see you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, good to see you too.
Nimesema Happy New Year because hii mwaka sifikiri tumekutana mahali. I don't think so.
Gacha sasa leo umekuwa mtu, lakini nimeona juzi umeenda huko Jerusalem, so najua umekuwa ukifanya kazi mzuri.
At least nilisema sikukaa tu hapa. Unajua kulisemekana mwenye hatembei hajuangi mama mwingine anajua kupika.
You're right.
So I decided to kupiga hatua mbili tatu, and the journey was awesome.
Nice to hear that.
Yeah, ebu songa pande yako ya left kidogo ndio ukae katikati ya box ya hapo hivyo. Hapo sasa. So now karibu sana, okay. Because by the way, before tuingie kwa hiyo, unajua mimi nataka tuende na wewe Israel November tunaenda Israel. So si kutafuta pesa tu hapa Marekani. Let's go brother.
Oh, no problem. You can do that.
Tafuta njia ya kutumia hizo pesa za wakili. Nasikia wakili hawachezi hapa.
Tutaenda and then we have a show there.
Exactly. That's what we need to do. Otherwise, karibu sana. Na najua hii season, especially this month ya May, kuna watu wana celebrate sana because they won green card. Na bado sijakuona ukiwa katikati ya box yangu. Naona bado uko pita ingine pande hii ya left kidogo. Right there. Exactly. So watu wengi wana celebrate wali win green card, na wengine wanalia hawaku win green card. So nataka kwanza tutako that part, lakini kwanza nikupe nafasi uwasalimie watazamaji wetu mahali popote walipo. Karibu sana.
Asante sana. First is to thank all of you for having tuned for this discussion. I'm always grateful when I meet Mr. Jeremy here. He's a person who has been providing a lot of masses with very good information, legal, real life situations. So I want to thank you for patronizing Jeremy. Jeremy, thank you so much for the good job you've been doing.
Asante.
I'm so happy, nimefurahi, in a way that anytime we get a chance, we don't turn it down to come and discuss a lot with our Kenyans, wherever they are. So thank you so much, and I look forward to a fruitful discussion.
Asante sana wakili. So now green card. Of course mimi najua, sijui ama by the way ulikuja hapa USA na green card ama ulikuja kusoma. Ama hiyo ni confidential.
Hiyo nitakupatia namba ya wakili wangu.
So sasa tuanze hapo kwa green card. Kuna watu ambao tutaanza na wale ambao wali lose kwanza. Kuna wale walicheza wakaenda kuangalia waka lose. Kuna hope.
There's always a hope. Huwa nakuta watu wengi sana wamewina. Kuna wengine, kuna mmoja amenipigia like last week. He's been playing for the last 12 years.
Right.
Haja give up. Saidi amewin 12 years.
Wow.
Alianza akiwa shule, sahii ameolewa na ako na watoto.
Wow.
So all what we need to understand, there are only 55,000 available visas per year. And the number of applicants goes as high as 10 million. 10 million people want to come to America through DV lottery. So you can see it's not easy.
Yeah.
And there is no magic. There's nothing else they have to do. Is just to ensure they keep applying, keep trying, follow the instructions, do the right previous pictures, ensure they match whatever information you are requested, give it. And you never know. Luck may be on your side. But even if you're not lucky, just know that there are other people who are lucky. Like now, in year 2023, I know a lot of Kenyans applied. They played that DV lottery and were not successful. However, 3,417 Kenyans were lucky to be selected for DV lottery 2023. So that was a give up.
You want to tell me ile list tulikuwa tumeambiwa sijui ni Kenya, sijui walikuwa wangapi wameapply DV lottery, only 470 wali win in Kenya?
No, 3,417. 3,400.
Oh wow.
Which is among the highest. Which is among the highest in the world.
I know.
Yeah.
By the way, inasemekana kuna mahali pale chini huanga wanasema if you are not selected now, you wait until August 10 you try again. So hiyo haimaanishi chochote. So if you have been it says has not been selected, wewe umalizane na hiyo mambo.
Malizana ngojea October next year. It's so unfortunate.
Mimi unajua ninaambianga waweke hiyo namba warudi tena waangalie August, because I mean, I don't know.
Not really. You know, once they select 100,000. 100,000 people, but they will only get 55,000. Of that 55,000, 5,000 is set aside for some agreements with some countries, which Kenya is not part of it. So for the rest of the world, the available visas is 50,000, but they have selected 100,000. They do that so that in case you are number one and you go for a visa or you fail to file, now they go to the next person. They go to the next person, because their goal is to ensure they utilize the entire 55,000. So that's why some people will also be selected. They will go all the way, they submit all the required documentation and everything else. Unfortunately, they don't get a chance to interview before September 30 and they are not successful. So it still happens. But the goal is just to keep trying. It's purely a matter of luck.
Hapo kweli kabisa. Well, now sasa kuna sasa wale watu ambao waliwin, na of late nimekuwa nikisikia watu wakinipigia simu wananiambia wanatafuta host, wengine wanapata host alafu akiendelea kidogo anawaambia hey, I can do this. So what is that has changed and it's giving so many people hard time to get host hapa kwa diaspora?
I think it has a lot. First, I will say it's very unfortunate that somebody has the capacity to change the life of an entire family and they don't do it. So first is to ask those people who are in the US, and if somebody you know approaches you and you have the capacity, just host them. However, I know one of the biggest things has always been the aspect of affidavit of support. Because whomever will be your sponsor would need a certain amount of income. And it happens that not everyone has got the required amount of income. So I see quite a number of people shying away from hosting others because they're afraid they may not have earned the required amount. However, all I can tell them is you can request a friend. You know another friend here in US who can still be a joint sponsor. So if you're in a position, just help. For those who are lucky, I will say just keep trying, because in your village or wherever, you might know one or two people who are in the US. So even if you contact one host and they are not able to host you, just contact another one. Try to reach out to as many people as you can. Don't shy away. Just keep trying because there's no magic. There's no magic, and there's no shortcut. You must have a host, and you
Right.
must have somebody to sponsor you. The affidavit of support. What also happens is that majority of the sponsors they're afraid of the responsibility of undertaking to help this person for several years. Sababu unajua vile ukifanya hiyo affidavit of support kile unamaanisha is you are undertaking to take care of this person in case they are unable to take care of themselves once they get into the US. So if I sponsor you, all I'm trying to assure the government is that if Jeremy comes to live in my house and he's unable to get job, he's unable to get food, he's unable to get housing, I will take care of him. He'll not go to the government to seek food stamp and welfare and all that. That's what I'm trying to tell the government. So that makes people be a little bit afraid. But it does not necessarily mean that you will have to support this person once they get here. So the choice, the decision should be based on your knowledge of the person. If I know, Jeremy, you're a hardworking person, if I know you've been hustling in Kenya, and you have an opportunity of coming to US, I know once you get into the US, you'll come hit the ground running. So if I'm confident that you're a hardworking person, I should not be afraid of supporting you. Yes.
So now unajua wakili, unaongea hiyo kama ni kitu very easy sana. Like of late mimi nimepata watu wengi sana wananiambia, Jeremy, we want green card. Ukiuliza huyo mtu mko wangapi, anakuambia ni watu kama 5, wife na watoto 3. So well, na wewe pande hii ya Amerika ni wewe na watoto wako 3. I mean, sasa na hii requirement ya kusema lazima uonyeshe income yako utaweza kutake care of another 5 family members inakuwa ngumu sana. Na kama last year kuna mama nilisaidia, alikuwa amepata green card wakiwa na mtoto wake, lakini host after everything, siku ya kwenda kwa interview aka withdraw, akasema hakuna hapeani hizo vitu za affidavit. Fortunately I had a good guy in Delaware. Yeye ndiye aliwasaidia hiyo familia na wakapata visas. Now they are here actually in either Seattle or California. So it's not easy, wakili.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate. I'll say very unfortunate, but also what I can say is before you play the lottery, at least have in your mind some people who you think can sponsor you, because sometimes it's very devastating. You win with your kids, they are aware that daddy has won this, your wife is aware you have won, but you eventually don't make it here. So even as you go ahead and play that lottery, just try to also reach out to 1 or 2 people and just voice them out. Just try to talk to them as you wait, so that you can easily get them on board in case you are lucky. But as you say, it's very unfortunate, but in ile wazungu wanasemanga, it is what it is. Ukikosa mtu pole, it was not meant to be, but it's unfortunate.
So niulize wakili, sasa mtu akiwa amewini na hana mtu wa kumhost na yeye ako na pesa Kenya, kama somebody told me he's doing very well in Kenya, amewin but he feels like he wanna move here, kuna jinsi unaweza sema wewe uko na pesa yako utaweza kujitafutia nyumba for those few months before you start running, mambo kama hayo?
Unfortunately for this kind of visa, there's no self-sponsorship.
Wow.
But if you have some tidy sum of money and your host is here and they are unable to sponsor you because they don't have enough income. If you trust each other, there is a way you can substitute the host income with money in their bank account. So if you, Jeremy, you're in Kenya, you have tidy sum of money and you want to come to US, I don't have, my income is not sufficient to support you. There are other alternatives. And one of the alternatives is putting money in a bank account, in a US bank account, and then you can use that bank statement as a proof that you're going to support this person. So there are other alternatives to income. One of them is money in a bank. Then issues like if you have a car, more than one car, you can use the value of that car. If you own a house, if it's fully owned, you can use that house. If it's on mortgage, you can get the equity from the mortgage. So there are still other ways to substitute that. But the most important thing is the willingness of this person to support you. And if they are genuine enough to tell you that they are afraid of sponsoring you because of their income is not sufficient. But you always say, in case you are here in the United States and somebody has approached you and you are willing to help and you are not sure whether your income is sufficient, always contact us. We've helped people, and the good thing, those are the kind of cases we do for free. If you, Jeremy, you want to support somebody and you don't know much about the affidavit or support, and it's a DV lottery, that one we don't charge. We just help you maneuver it for free. We guide you as to what you need,
Right.
alternative incomes, aspect of car, what do you need to do with the car? When it's your house, what do you need to show in a house? So we help people with that.
Wow. I think hiyo ni mzuri. So mtu asisikia mtu amemuuliza anataka kuhost a withdraw haraka haraka, asikize kwanza.
Yeah, asikize.
Because the most
They should
important
reach out
part
to us.
ni huyu mtu kwanza apate visa. Sasa hii mambo ingine ya kukaa na nini, hiyo ikuja baadaye.
Hiyo mtajipanga.
Awesome. Now, let's come to the process. Because kuna watu waliwin, they don't know what to do. Wanagojea barua. I've had many people telling me they are waiting for now the visa. Mtu alipata barua kaambiwa has been selected. Sasa hajui kingine chochote. Now, the process.
Well, the first thing, once you check and you find that you have been selected, that site, if somebody wants to come to America, most likely they know how to read basic English. If they read, they will see some simple instructions. There's some form they're supposed to file. They complete it and submit it to Kentucky Consular Center. Once they submit that form to Kentucky Consular Center, they will now be guided as to the next step. They will be guided as to when they should, what is required at what time. So, those who have been lucky, all they need to do is to fill in. There's a form there, it's called DS 260. They just complete it. They
Right.
do simple instructions. You just complete it and submit. Once you submit, the Kentucky Consular Center is very, they understand this visa is an aspect of diversity. They understand some of those people are in so many countries and they want them to come here to bring about diversity in the US in matters of culture, languages, and all that. So they have very, very straightforward instructions. So they will communicate back to them and they give them the steps they need to take. They will tell them when they need to make a payment, when they need to submit whatever document. So everything will be straightforward. And then once they schedule them for interview, they are told to go for medical. So everything will be very easy. But while we are at it, the biggest thing which I find and has been failing a lot of people is when you played the DV lottery, there are the details you gave. Those details should match with what you put in your DS-260. Because now it's happening a lot that somebody just walking around in town and they go to a cyber and they apply for DV lottery and they don't include wife and children. Immediately they win, they include wife and children. There is a very high likelihood that it will be denied eventually.
Right.
And it's unfortunate because it will not be denied at Kentucky. It will go all the way to the interview. All of you will do medical. Imagine a family of 5. Husband pleads and did not say he was married, he did not say he has children. Once he wins, he includes wife and children. All of them undergo medical exam. Then they are denied. Him and the other family members are denied. Because it's deemed that when you played, you did not give accurate information. So whatever you are winning is invalidated by what they call misrepresentation. And there's no waiver for that. So it's always very important before you play, ensure you have details of all your relatives. If you're married, details of your wife. If you have children, details of the children. So, unfortunately, people don't prepare. So you just go, you are walking around in town and you decide to play lottery. You don't have pictures. You don't, especially like some men, they don't even know date of birth of their children. They're playing lottery. That should not be the case. So, if you are planning to play lottery, like now it's coming up in October, this is the time to start preparing. Take those pictures, passport size pictures right now, while there is no huge traffic. Ensure everything is ready, so that once they open, you just play it without so much of a hassle.
Wow. Now, hapa kuna kitu umesema, so mtu kuongeza watu ambao hawakuwa they were filling the green card at the first time. But now, kuna mtu labda hakuwa ameoa, but within this time, alijaza Oktoba, akaoa Februari. Luckily, akakuta win. Huyo naye mambo yake inakuangaje, na ama hakuwa na mtoto, but in the process, amepata mtoto.
When they fill in DS-260, they will put in that information, and everything will go on well. However, once they go to the embassy will try to find out whether they just did this for the sake of immigration. Of course, if it's a child, there's no way you can get a child to come to US, but there's a way you can get married because you just want DV lottery. So they look, people go, you are interviewed, they ask you some questions. If they really determine that, or they highly suspect that you just got married after you won, unfortunately, they are going to deny you. So such cases, they look at it, each case on its own circumstances. They look at it that way.
So in short,
they look at it individually. Sorry. So you can change details, but those details should not have any indication that you misrepresented during your initial application. That's what they look at.
Okay.
And second, those details should not have any indication that you did it for immigration benefit. You all know, even here in US, if you get married for immigration benefit, you can't be allowed to do that. So, along the same lines, if they do it, it's not gonna work.
So I remember last time wakili, actually hiyo yote umesema ni kumaanisha sasa in case you win green card or you won green card, si kumaanisha sasa wewe directly umeingia America. Ndio unasikiaga mtu akiambiwa ukiwin green card hiyo mezea na ukae nayo ndani yako until everything has been into process na umekamilika kabisa kutembea, sasa you can talk, but if you want green card just keep it to yourself, labda udiscuss na wale watu ambao wanaweza kukusaidia kwa process. Kuna my friend last year alikuwa amewin green card, and when he went for the visa he was lucky, aliitwa interview na akaenda na familia. Now unfortunately waliambiwa ndio tunaweza wapatia visa, lakini we only have one visa and they were 4 of them, bibi na watoto wawili. So waliulizwa wa choose, ama wapewe hiyo visa moja ama so kama ni wewe wakili, unaweza advise mtu namna gani?
Sasa hiyo inakaa kama ilikuwa ile ya Biblia, wala wamama waliambiwa wakatane mtoto ama choose.
Imagine.
Anyway, the thing is, unless that person gave inaccurate information, the 50,000 or 55,000 inclusive of the other 5,000 from selected countries is not the total number of visas available. It's only for the principal applicant, because there's the principal applicant and there is now the derivatives. Mm-hmm. The derivatives number is not included in that 50,000. So if this person went with the children and all that, and they are saying they were told to make a choice, there's something which is not adding up, because that's not how it operates. Mm-hmm. It's a principal applicant who is counted, not all the derivatives. Yes.
Oh, so labda sijui kwa sasa yeye aliniambia kulingana na yeye kuniambia but I'm not sure, labda alikuwa amecheza green card wakiwa peke yake, lakini akadecide kunipeleka hivi, but the truth is now he's here. Yeah, alikuja, aliacha familia, nikamwambia basi sawa, chapa kazi miaka 5 utawa cream.
Hata sio miaka 5. He can just get, akifika kwa airport, even before he gets you know, now the next step, once you attend the interview, you get the immigrant visa, the DV visa now, diversity visa. Mm-hmm. It's a fix on your stamp. Mm-hmm. You come to the airport, there's some sealed documents you are given to give at the airport. Mm-hmm. You go there and you give them in. You hand them over to custom people. Mm-hmm. After you do that, they stamp your passport and tell you welcome to the United States. The minute they stamp your passport, you have become a permanent resident. So you can even just go, if there are cybers within the airport, you can just go there and now petition for your family, the rest of your family, because you're already a permanent resident. The minute they tell you welcome to the United States at the port of entry, that's it, you're good. So you do not have to wait for long. As we've been telling people, as a permanent resident, you can petition for your spouse. Mm-hmm. You can petition for your children who are at 21 years. Mm-hmm. And you can petition for your unmarried sons and daughters. Mm-hmm. That is those who are over 21 years, but they are unmarried. And you can do it the same day you land in the United States, even before you receive the actual green card.
Wow.
You can do it with the stamp and the visa. Mm-hmm. You can use that because that's enough evidence of a permanent resident. And we've done that, especially, sometimes we get clients go to immigration court and all those kind of stuff. Sometimes we petition even before we receive the actual green card. As long as you have something showing your case has been approved. Mm. Yes, so they don't have to wait for long, they can do it upon arrival.
So you want to tell me mtu ambaye ako na green card hapa America already na ako hapa ako settled, however he got the green card or she got the green card, anaweza petition for either the son, husband or a child unmarried?
Yes, they can do that. They can do that. Green card holder can petition for spouse, mm-hmm. children mm-hmm. who are at 21 years, son and daughters who are over 21 years but they are unmarried. The only little thing is green card is a privilege. It's not a right. So if you got a green card and you said you don't have children and you're not married, and then you land into US and immediately petition for them, then you have some explanations to do, including why you should not be kicked out of US, because there will be a finding that you also did not give accurate information. You misled when you applied for your green card. So one has to be very careful in case you want to petition for your children. You have to ask yourself whether you had included them in your initial application at the embassy. If you are not included them, then you better sit down with an attorney so that you can see how safe or unsafe it is for you to attempt to do that. Of course, there are ways you can do it. It's risky, but there are ways you can do it, but you have to be very well prepared to fight that fight.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Wacha kwanza nitambue watu kadhaa ambao wanatutazama siku ya leo. Of course, if you have a question concerning green card, kabla tujatoka kwa hiyo part, you can just write it to me pale kwa YouTube. Unaweza enda hapo uandike swali yako, or you can actually text ya kwa Facebook, ama uniandikie kwa 2057204397. Priscilla Gathoni ananiambia watching from Nairobi. Asante sana. Recho Andika watching from Kenya. Choka Harigam, thank you. Mkenya unasema what about if you are not married when applying? Hiyo nafikiria tumejibu. Catherine Makoha, I like your comments. Your heart is so loving, your words. Bwana Wakiri, asante sana. Na Shiko Kuria, thank you very much. Paul Mbogwa, ninakuona unauliza what the required photo kilobytes. Haya, hiyo tutaangalia. Grace Cabs, asante sana, unasema I'm so much interested in this. Nancy Jane Jogu following Beatrice Mwangi, asante sana. Bridget Kaimuri, thank you very much. Na kuona Pauline Wambogu unasema keep up good work, blessing Jeremy. Asante Redia Wangombe, keep up the good work. Ben Jiro saying Jeremy, God bless you, you amazing minister, Pastor Ben Mero. I'm also interested to come. Get to Wajiko. Asante Maina Kelvin, thank you very much kwa kututazama leo hii tukiwa na Wakiri wa Njohi. My friend Josephine kutoka upande wa St. Louis umesema nisalimie Wakiri. Thank you very much. Najua Wakiri amesalimika. Thank you. Tukirudi pale kwa discussion. Now, Wakiri, wacha tuongee kuhusu kuna my friend ako kule upande wa Wisconsin, kitu kama hiyo. Sasa yeye amekaa hapa 7 years. Lakini alikuwa anataka ameinvite mzazi kwa hapa Amerika, amenyimwa visa not one, not twice, not thrice, mara mingi. Na watu wengi sana wako pia hapa Amerika wamejaribu kuinvite wazazi, ama wacha niongea sana kuhusu wazazi. Hata mimi nilikuwa hapo, najaribu kuinvite mzazi, anaenda ananyimwa na anaambiwa huwezi enda. So what happens? Na labda wewe ni citizen wa Amerika lakini mzazi wako ananyimwa visa.
To get a non-immigrant visa, the consular officer has to satisfy themselves that there's no likelihood of you immigrating to US once you get here. So what they are looking at is, once this person goes to US, will they come back? Will they return to Kenya? So those are the factors they look at. Number one, they look at, if I'm a mother, I'm in Kenya, I retired, I'm no longer working, and my son is in the US as a citizen, there's a high likelihood that once I go to US, my son will petition for me. So even if I'm applying for non-immigrant visa as a visitor, there is that likelihood that I intend to go and apply for green card once I get to the America. So that's one thing they consider. They also consider, if I go to US, I don't have a good job, most likely I will not go back because I don't have a good job in Kenya. I don't have a family in Kenya. So nikifika huko, I'll just do babysitting or wherever. So they consider all those. So The biggest consideration is usually the family attachment in Kenya, and nobody says this, but they also look at your economic status. So if they see you are not all that well up in Kenya, chances of you getting that visa is a little bit slim. It's a bit slim. People get, not that it's only rich people get, even poor people get, so to say, to use the word poor. Not only the rich get, even those who are not, but your economic status plays a huge consideration. They consider that very much, because there's a likelihood that if you don't have a stable job, if you don't have a reliable income in Kenya, once you get a chance to come to US, you're not going to go back. And
Hata wamama wazee wakili, hata wamama wazee
atafanya babysitting ama watoto wao watawafailia green card wakifika Amerika. Naangalia.
Okay. So now I remember during my mom's time, mara ya mwisho alienda akaulizwa, if your son is a citizen in the US, bona hakufaili? I mean, and that is why I gave up. Nikasema hata rudi hiyo embassy tena.
Yes, they do that. Actually, there has been that trend. There's been that trend in our embassies of denying parents of citizens a lot. They're being denied a lot. And it's because mimi na wewe tunajua when parents of citizens come here, 50% of them don't go back. The embassy is away of it.
Hey.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mary Marira. Mary Marira anasema, Jeremy ask wakili if I can apply with my grandchild. Na hii swali nimeisikia sana. Unasikia sasa kuna mama mzee ako hapa, alipata document zake zote na ako hapa, mwingine ako Kenya, lakini wacha tuongee kwanza wa huyu wako hapa. Alikuja na ako na green card, ako na citizen, amekuwa Muamerika. Sasa mtoto wake aliacha Kenya, alipata watoto, lakini yeye ameingia kwa ulevi. Sasa anauliza, can I file for my grandchild? Ama mwenye ako Kenya akitaka kucheza, anaweza jeza na ajaze grandchild?
No, one can't do that because if you are playing a lottery, you can only include your spouse and your biological children, and the only children will either biological or adopted or stepchildren, and the only one you can come with is those who are under 21 years as of the time you played the lottery. For grandchildren, no, unless you have adopted them. If you have adopted them, then means those happen to be your adopted children, and you can treat them the way you treat your children, immigration-wise. The only caveat is if you're already in the United States and you go to Kenya, you can bring an adopted child from Kenya, who might even be now your grandchild. However, there's a requirement of having a 2-year physical custody after you have gained legal custody. So you need to have finalized adoption before the child turns 16 years. You need to have had legal custody of that child, followed by a physical custody for at least 2 years. That's the only way you're eligible to bring such a child here. That's your adopted child. Then the other one is through international adoption. It's also a very lengthy process, and unfortunately, since year 2014, the Kenya government banned international adoption, so to say. There has not been any international adoption since 2014. We have raised that issue a lot of times with the government, and nobody is willing to address it. So all we can say is we remain hopeful that the government will allow people, will reinstitute international adoption. We are aware that there are some requirements which the Kenya government is supposed to meet and it has not yet met for it to smoothly reinstitute international adoption. So that's the only unfortunate thing. So for those who want to bring their grandchildren, unfortunately, they can only do it through their children. Because if today I were to petition for my son or my daughter, and they have children themselves, while they are coming here, they are allowed to come along with their children who are under 21 years. Lakini sasa
Wow.
huyu amesema ni son yake ni mlevi, sijui sasa hapo itakuwaje.
Sasa unajua kuna wazazi wengi sana hapa wanashindwa sasa, watoto wao wako kule nyumbani, wengine wameingia kwa ulevi, hawajui wataanza namna gani. Well, they think they can try to use other ways ndio waweze kusaidia hawa watoto wakuje hapa. Well, kwanza tuache hiyo. Wacha tuingie sasa kwa hawa watu wengine, because I think many Kenyans, hata watu wa UK, nimeongea na marafiki kadhaa from UK wananiambia wanataka kuhamia America. Pia watu wako nchi zingine, mtu anasikia anasema my dream country is United States of America. Well, kuna other visas ambazo huwa zinapeanwa. Probably you can guide us through, tuambie ni visa gani watu wanaweza apply kukuja hapa Marekani. I mean, na most likely watu wanapata.
Believe it or not, people are still getting visitors visas. They're still getting it at the US Embassy in Kenya. And still a lot of people are going to Tanzania, Dar es Salaam, and they are still getting visitor visa. So that's one way. Lakini wanakuja hapa as visitors, not as workers. The other one, for those a little bit young people, they can do student visa. We remain one. Kenya send a lot of students to US, so that's one way of getting yourself into America. And once you come here, you study well, you can secure some employment through some other visa processes once you're in the United States as a student and you have performed well. Then there's visas, actually green card itself, a lot of them which are available now for nurses. There's shortage of nurses in the United States. So of late, a lot of agencies, they are all flocking to Kenya, looking for nurses to bring them to Kenya. So those who are lucky, our nurses are able to come here. So I don't know now what will come when our nurses come to US. I don't know who will be treating our people back in Kenya. However, of course, the government should take measures to expand nursing teaching facilities so that some of the extra nurses can come into US.
Right.
Then there is exchange visitor and exchange workers. There's something we call J visas. There are agencies and sponsors in the United States who always invite young people to come here and learn some skills in their field of career. And mostly it's in the hospitality industry. Those who are working in hotels, those who are doing those relevant courses, they can come here, they work in a camp. Like during summertime, a lot of them come and work at YMCAs. A lot of them go work in other camps, in hotels. So there is that option of coming here as a next stage worker or as a next stage visitor.
Wow.
And hopefully one day our government will find it wise to. There is visas available for agricultural workers.
Yeah, I know huku ukulima ni
And
mkubwa
all
sana.
you need to know, haki ya nani Jeremy, is unajua kulima, unajua kukamua, unajua kuharvest apple, unajua kuharvest mahindi. However, United States always have shortage of agricultural workers, and every year a lot of them come here. Over 80,000 agricultural workers come here.
Na huwa
but they only
wanatoka
come
wapi?
from
Mexico.
there are there are countries which have been designated to bring agricultural workers, but it has to be an initiative of our government to negotiate with the Department of State so that Kenya can be listed as one of the designated countries which can supply agricultural workers to US.
Na hiyo inaweza kuwa mzuri sana. Mtu akuje kukamua ng'ombe huku.
Imagine. Kama mtu akuje alime for 6 months, alipwe vizuri, halafu arudi nyumbani, agoje next year, akuje few millions, arudi. So that's another visa which is there. Unfortunately, in Africa, I think South Africa, Morocco, Egypt sometimes have done it. Ethiopia sometimes have done it. Very few countries have done it. I'm not aware of Kenya having made any attempts to seek those. They are called H2A visas.
Okay.
So we only hope that our government at any one time will find it wise to pursue that line. We as attorneys, we have done all we could to advise our government, to reach out to the government, to highlight to them of availability of these visas. Lakini hiyo nyingine tutaongea off the camera.
Haya basi, thank you. Of course tuko na Foreign Affairs Minister ambaye anaitwa Alfred Mutua. Nimemwona sana akitembea hapa Marekani. I think people need to rise with these issues. Watu waende waongee, wapewe hiyo nafasi ya kuleta agriculture workers hapa. Watu wa kuchuna matunda ni wengi sana. Hakuna mtu hawezi chuna matunda. Sisi tumechuna kahawa na majani, mikono inashonuka na huku wanatumia machine. Ni kutrainiwa kidogo tu unashika laini. Ala. Si ndio hiyo? Wakili.
All I can tell you, Jeremy, sometimes back late last year or early this year, actually we raised the same issue with the cabinet minister. I would defer you to go and check his response to that issue of agricultural workers. It was an unfortunate response.
Wow.
It was an unfortunate response. Yes.
Haya, tuachane na yeye. Thank you very much guys. Karibuni sana, tuko na wakili leo hapa, our attorney here in the US ambaye anasaidia Wakenya wengi sana hapa Marekani. Wakifika wenye wako kama umewin green card, leo tunaongea kuhusu hiyo advice kama lose green card ama ukuwin, na pia kama unapata visitor visa, unakuja ni visa gani ingine unaweza pata. Na wakili, by the way, kuna vitu nimesikia ukitaja kuhusu hawa watu wanapeangwa visa. Kuna website mtu anaweza enda angalia hizo visas, ama kuna agency ambao huwa wanaleta hawa watu hapa USA, watu wanaweza enda kuapply?
Yes, all this information, I believe you are talking of J visa. Yes, that information, if somebody were just to do a simple Google for J visa sponsors, you can see the J visa. If I can just try to get for you the yes. So the answer is yes. There is a website for that. Yes.
Haya, sawa. So mtu aende tu agugu J1 visa.
Yes.
Atapata
and it's there. I've seen the website is jvisa.state.gov.
Okay, so at least wale wananisikia size, you can just try to do that and read all about it. Usianguke kwenye mikono ya conmen, because ni wengi sana wakili, na siku hizi kuna maagent wengi sana ambao wananyanyasa watu sana. Would you advise people to go kwa hawa maagency?
I would say no. Because the US government licenses and recognizes agents, because for you to become an agent in this visa process, there is some basic requirements. And so before you're allowed to do that, they ensure you meet that. One of it is like if you're a lawyer, you're allowed to do this. If you are not a lawyer, you have been approved, you are accredited by immigration bodies like Board of Immigration Appeals, you can do that. So all I normally tell people is somebody is helping you and they are not going to put their name on that application, then you just be cautious.
Haya,
Every application you do here in US, there's always a portion for preparer to put
You're
their
right.
details. And when you ask that, Jeremy, it's very unfortunate. It's not only happening. Actually, the worst part is here in the United States. There are some parts we all know, especially in asylum application, there are so many so-called agents. And they are misleading our people in huge numbers. They are letting them into trouble which we are not able to overcome. For example, you see somebody will file for asylum. One statement will, like 10 or 15 people will be having the same statement. The only change is the top part.
haya, nimempoteza wakili. Well, najua labda ni amerudi. Karibu sana. Ulikuwa umepotea wakili?
Sorry, it's a call which was coming through my iPad.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Tuendelee.
you will find especially with asylum, 10 or 15 people, they have the same statement. Na ukifikiri serikali ni jinga, they have been catching them. 10 or 15 people are having the same medical report from the same doctor.
Right.
Same injury, same drug. The only difference is the date. Some of them are even having the same date. You are coming with the police abstract, OB report, same OB report, same police officer, but different names. So all those things are happening because of those people who are not licensed. Those people who know they are not responsible to anyone. And unfortunately, a lot of them are being placed in removal proceedings. If you go to some states, you will see like 20 or so % of people in removal proceedings are Kenyans.
Right.
If you just walk to a courthouse, and I tell you, I give you an example. The next time you'll be in Seattle on a weekday, just go to Second Avenue, walk into courthouse. There's a course list there, which is all public. Just take picture of it. Go sit down. You see how many people will be from Kenya. And you'll find most of them are referred from asylum application because maneno mengi imefanyika mbaya. More so, there's also a lot of misleading stuff from lawyers themselves. We've not been left out. If you remember, there are a lot of flyers which fly around all the time. Anytime something little is said or proposed by the government, flyers start flying around. People are told to open files, provide this or this stuff. You must have seen those flyers.
Yes.
They become viral. And people just pay 200, 300, 200, 300, 200, 300 just to be put in the queue because the law is just about to be changed and you want to be the first one to benefit from it. So people are tricked like that and they pay in millions. There are people who have become millionaire out of such. So my advice is always just get a reputable licensed lawyer. And before you come to me, I tell you, pay me to represent you. I should not, you should not pay me to represent you on something I anticipate will happen. I anticipate this law will change. That should never happen. And of late, we normally warn people against falling into that, lakini sisi tunapenda shortcut. Tutaki kufuata
Yeah.
the right way.
Watu wetu sana sana, especially, na umetaja kitu mzuri sana. Unajua sasa, na hapo ndio tulikuwa tunaingia, ndio tukuje tukimalizia. Once people get this visa, tuseme ni visit visa, mtu amefanya venye amefanya, Mungu amemsaidia, amepata visit visa. Mwingine hata hakuwa na mafikira ya kukuja hapa Amerika akae. Mwingine alikuwa tu anasema wacha tu nifike huko nione venye hewa iko alafu nirudi nyumbani. And I've heard that from so many people. Mtu amekuja amekaa tu kidogo, ameambiwa hapana, wewe wacha tutajaribu hivi namna, wewe fanya kazi kidogo. By the time she realizes, hata alikuwa arudi nyumbani jana, sasa leo hakuwa amerudi, ana decide kusettle na kufanya kazi. Sasa hawa watu shida zao zinaanzanga hapo, ama mtu anastahili kufanya namna gani kabla decide kukaa hapa, bwana wakili?
My take is usually, number one, be honest to yourself while you are still in Kenya. Know exactly what you want. Are you coming to visit, or you are coming to live in the United States? If your desire is to live in the United States, which also raises the issue that you did not tell the embassy that you intended to live in the United States. However, if it's at the back of your mind, upon entry, just seek proper legal advice. Go, there are so many attorneys who are licensed. Go, sit down with them. Try to evaluate options. What's the best option for you? What exactly? And whatever you tell us is always in confidence. Whether you call me on my phone, it will still be in confidence. Nobody will be listening. That information is privilege. Just tell me everything. What's your plan? What you're thinking? And I'll be able to guide you. I'll be able to tell you this is possible, this is not possible. Then take your time. Go sit down with your family. Go sit down with your friends. Tell them these are the situation. This is what I'm thinking. Take your time, think, and then come up with your plan. Unfortunately, what's happening, Jeremy, so sorry to say again, people are going, I come as a visitor I come to your church, and I'm introduced in church, and I say hi to people. I'm here, I'm Johi, I just visited my sister, and I'll be here for the next 1 to 3 weeks. By the time my sister is getting home, she will have received like 3 or 4 calls of now the so-called agents. They don't even give you a chance to think. They are so aggressive. They are so aggressive to win anyone who has just arrived here. And unfortunately, our people just fall into that trap, and they follow them. So they're not even given time to think. And you are promised a lot of things which don't work.
Right.
And then immediately you pay your few thousand, you're on your own. And your problems start from there. And especially, with asylum, if you are caught to, like those who are filing the same application, same statement, same supporting document, so that one is termed as a frivolous asylum. Because you are knowingly submitting false documents and false declarations. So once a judge has determined that your documents were false, once the judge has determined that your declaration was fake, unfortunately you are unable to get any immigration benefit ever in the United States. So that's the end of you. Did I lose
Wow.
you, Jeremy?
No, I'm here.
Okay.
Now follow. I'm
Oh,
still
okay, sir,
following
sir.
you.
Sir. So that's the danger which is there. So watu wetu tu wakifika hapa wajue they are lucky, and once you get to US, get proper legal advice and you'll be okay.
Wow. Thank you very very much wakili. Ndio tunashukuru sana when you are always here because unatusaidia sana na tunashukuru sana. Thank you. Wacha kwanza nisome watu kadhaa hapa. Jane Sony, thank you. Anasema any other way to help a person with only ready passport as any miracle or we might try our luck in green cards only. Haya. Wajirowisho kaiga mzazi wangu alinyimwa. Question, how should a parent respond to the question, do you have a relative in the US? Hiyo utatuambia wakili. Zakari Nyambura, very impressive Jeremy. Okay, asante sana. Wanjiro Visha, asante sana. So looks like they want to make money out of petitioning process. Ametaja hiyo maneno umeongea. Nosakare Glory, I'm interested, please help me. Asante. Esther Karemi Ireri, watching from Alabama, say hi to Wakili Wanjohi. Thank you very much. Asante. My good friend Paul Mbogo anasema, I guess you all have heard about this agent for Canada giving people visit visa and tell them that that when they reach Canada they will change to work visa. Haya, mambo ya Canada hatuwezi kukueleza sahi because we are tackling mambo ya US. This is where we are. Virginia Moremi, thank you very much from California. Asante. Jimna Elder Jimna Njogona from Oregon unasema thank you very much Wakiri, good advice. Thank you. Aba wako kule upande wa YouTube. Gladys Maina from New York anasema great information, thank you very much. Nancy Mungai anauliza how to check if you want green card. At least unajua uko na ile namba ulipewa. You can just go to www.dvprogram or dvprogram.state.gov. Uende hapo uweke namba zako hapo na miaka yako ya kuzaliwa. You'll see whether you have been selected. My friend Virginia Ndongo unasema the agriculture job have sponsored visas. Hiyo ndio tulikuwa tunaongelea, tunasema serikali iingilie. My friend Pastor Margaret from the US unauliza how can I get Wakili's number please? Haya tutakupatia. Irene Kabosha, thanks JD for this information. Damaris Gadhira unasema you are watching from Qatar. Faith Wanyoike uko ndani. Tony Ngare watching, asante. Tosh Baba from Nairobi, asante. Priscilla Gadhoni, thank you very much. And Lecho Andika, nashukuru sana. Mase Wanja, you are watching from Georgia. Thank you very very much. Mase Wanja. My friend Susan Nywili, thank you. God bless you. Jane Nyambura, CEO of Amara Realty, habari yako? Good morning. Ukiwa upande wa Chicago unasema great conversation. Asante sana. Na watu wa St. Louis umeniambia utakuwa huko kuanzia kesho all the way to Monday. Kwa hivyo Amara CEO anakuja huko St. Louis. Haya, Naomi Nyambura Mwihaki unasema I'm interested nifike huko one day but agent ananiitisha do mob sana. Haya, hiyo mambo ya agent hatutaongea kwa sasa. Tutaongea next time. Betty Francis anasema ako ndani na anatuwatch and thank you very much. Now, hii issue ya asylum bwana wakili naona ndio ina affect watu wengi sana. Now, what is your advice? What is the easiest way mtu akifika hapa? Kuna watu wanafika hapa mtu anasema wacha nilikuja na visitor visa, wacha sasa ni apply shule. Ana advise as you said, kuna watu wengi sana wana advise watu. Now wewe kama mimi najua you are a genuine lawyer, attorney, tumefanya kazi naye miaka mingi. I mean, what is that advice? Because there is someone who is watching us right now. Aliingia America jana ama last week ama 2 months, bado visa yake ni legit. What is your advice?
Okay, thank you so much. Just before then, there was somebody who was asked, who just mentioned wazazi wanaulizwa whether they have a relative in the US.
Right.
Of course, when you are filing from DS 160, if you have relative, then you have to include them. And again, I will say what the embassy is looking at is your likelihood of sticking in the US. So what attachment do you have in your home country? Unfortunately, what is happening is that a lot of our parents, they only indicate that they are retired. And the minute they say they are retired, they are saying they don't have a job or anything like that. They forget they have a lot of income. Some of them have cows. Some of them have pigs. Some of them have coffee. Some of them have rental units, which brings them a lot of income. But they don't include it there because they don't think they work. That has been the problem. So if a parent has included all their sources of income, and instead of saying that they are retired, let them say they are farmers or they are business owners or they are property owners, whichever term they use, most likely they will get it. The danger of saying no that you don't have relatives in the US. For example, if you say you don't have a relative, then your son is here in the US or your daughter is here in the US and they are citizen or they are just about to become citizen. Then they will not be able to file for you because the visa you got was not valid in that you misrepresented your information. To your question upon entry here, if you enter as a visitor, that is B1 or B2, there are options. The first one, if you are of school going age, you can apply to change your status from visitor to student. So that's an option one can do. You can do that and you can become a student. Is it bad? If you know you can get the finances to do it, well, you can go to school, you improve your chances of getting a decent job, and in the process while you're in school, you can look for permanent employers here. So that's one option. The other option, of course, some of them are afraid of going back home, and this can be for a variety of reasons. Sorry to say that if you look at the country report, the US State Department Human Rights Conditions report for Kenya, it indicates that domestic violence is very prevalent. There's a lot of domestic violence in Kenya, as per the report. I don't know. Me, I'm following the report. So, if for any reason you are a victim of, see, like you are a lady and you're a victim of domestic violence, you can apply for asylum. That's one thing you can apply. We know there are so many closet gays and lesbians in Kenya. Once they get to US, well, you have the freedom to take advantage of the laws in this country. We, of course, we always have varied beliefs in issues of LGBT. However, the law is there. We may not agree on LGBT, but the law is there to protect those people who are doing what majority of us don't believe in. So if you are closet gay or lesbian, this is a chance where you can take advantage of the laws and you can legally get protected through asylum. You know, as per the US government, it's only 3 tribes in Kenya which don't practice FGM. Of course, there has been a huge reduction in FGM in Kenya. However, there are some pockets of FGM here and there. So if you are a victim of FGM, this happened now, it happened so many years ago, you can still apply for asylum. If you have well-founded fear that you might be subjected to FGM, you can still apply for asylum. So there is still asylum available for people who come here as visitors. However, that's the bit I'm saying. That's where there is a lot of misleading information, and all this is being peddled out by agents who are not licensed, who are just out to milk money, and then they disappear out of the country. Jeremy, I'm very sure you have had people who are being taken all over. The government is looking for them and they go into Kenya and they change their identity. And I can tell you, I had a real I had a real case in Seattle. I filed for asylum for 3 people, 3 ladies. I filed for them the same day. And 2 of them, their cases were similar. The third one was different. But of course, facts were different. But the claim was similar. So they were scheduled for interview one day, same day. Their lawyer is one, and all of them for interview same day. So I went, I did the interview for the first one, and I did for the second one, and I did for the third one. After we finished that interview, and it was the same officer, he asked me, Counsel, we are happy that we thought this is one of those Kenyan cases. That's an asylum officer in Seattle who told me they thought these are some of those Kenyan cases. Because they had thought that they are going to come with the same evidence, they are going to come with the same fact pattern, everything the same. But of course, it was different, and luckily all of them got granted asylum. At the same time, some others went there. Some agents had filed for them. And upon going for an interview, you are all being shown. Have you ever seen this? This medical report? This one has a similar name. It's the same doctor, same time, same day, same treatment, of course, only different names. Do you know, like it's me and you, and then I'm asked, do you know somebody called Jeremy Damaris? No. Have you ever gone to the same hospital, same time, same treatment with Jeremy Damaris? No. Where do you live? I live in Alabama. What is the zip code? It's 35205. How comes your asylum was filed from zip code, a different zip code, yet you're the one who did it and you filed it? Because they look even the mailing envelope. The handwriting is all the same. Everything is the same. So asylum is there, but it has been abused, and people have to be very careful, because if you abuse it, you'll be caught. The other one, the available way is employment. Before,
Hebu ngoja wakili kidogo, tukae tu hapo kwa asylum kidogo, sababu hapo hiyo imeniguza sana cause nimekuwa na maswali mingi sana kuhusu hiyo asylum. Na of course kuna wale watu wanajulikana wanatengenezea watu hiyo story huko Seattle ama kule kwingine. Mtu anatoka Boston na anatoka kule kwingine anaenda Seattle, because that is where now many Kenyans are going. Unaenda unatengenezewa, unaambiwa mtu fulani uanga anatengenezea watu information, unafanywa hivyo just as you have explained, ikifika kule inajulikana. So my question is this. Sasa wale washafanywa hivyo, kuna chances yao ya withdraw akuje afanye ingine, ama kabla ifikiwe, ama hiyo sasa agoje tu abiwe big no?
Normally, when you file for asylum and you don't get another status, if you attempt to withdraw asylum,
right,
you'll be placed in removal proceedings. Because normally happens if you file for asylum while you are in status, and you go for interview while you're in status, and asylum is denied, you just go back to the status you were in. So if you have already fallen out of status and your asylum is not granted, it means you're out of status and you'll be placed in removal proceedings. That's why you have seen some people, they have filed for green card, while the green card is pending, they withdraw their asylum, and instead of green card being approved, they are placed in removal proceedings. So for those people, first I'll say they are in trouble. We have tried to work with few of them. It's not one of the things I like, but we've tried to work with few of them, and we are seeing how to rectify them. So I would advise them to sit down with a lawyer,
right,
come out in the open, explain exactly what happened, and then with the help of the lawyer, you can see how to handle it.
Okay.
We have done that. I recently had a case in court I think it was March this year. It was in Seattle. And Jeremy, I will tell you, I represented somebody in March in Seattle. She was in deportation, and she got my number through this forum we hold here. And she was a victim of such kind of stuff. But we worked out, and she was not deported, and she was given asylum this March
Wow.
this year.
Wow.
However, a lot of them are not willing to work with the lawyer. You're being advised, do this, do this, but they don't want to work with the lawyers. So they come to us. If they don't want to work with us, then we tell them, I'm sorry. If you want us to do your way, we cannot represent you. If you are ready to be guided, then you have a way out.
Awesome. Now,
And
wakili okay.
Jeremy,
Maliza.
just to touch on that, you're finding that a lot of our mothers who are the one who are falling victims to this, it's a 70-year-old lady. She never went to school, yet she has written an asylum statement. She can't speak in English. So those are the people we are also helping them. We are helping them to turn around this, because majority of them have very good cases. Majority of them have very good cases. However, they were misled. They have written statements, yet you can't speak in English properly, leave alone writing. And then you present that and you don't know even any of the facts in your case. So one of the things we advise them first is to report from the person who filed, but from the government, so that you also have a copy of what was filed, and then we take it up from there.
Awesome, awesome. Tukiingia sasa ya employment, because najua hiyo pia watu wanangojea ya employment. Unajua kuna watu walikuja hapa na visa ya masomo na they are still in status. Hata saa hizi they are still in status, labda wanasoma, wanaendelea kusoma. Mtu anasoma mpaka unafika mahali unasikia no school ahead. Now, kuna wakati itafika hiyo grace period ishe ya kupewa hiyo visa ya masomo. Sasa serikali kuambia wewe sasa tunaona unataka kukaa hapa sasa.
Not really. If you have continuously maintained your stay, your status as a student, you have not missed classes, and then you have not worked illegally. You've only worked when you've been given employment authorization. They don't have any problem. You can study as much as you want. There are people who I know, they came here, they did undergraduate, they did masters, they did PhD, now they are doing the second PhD. They can do as much as you're eligible. However, what we advise them is as soon as you get into the US as a student, also make a decision. Do you intend to eventually settle in the US, or you want to go back home? If you're entertaining that idea that you may want to settle in the US, start having a plan. What do you study? And what do you like studying? And what course can give you an opportunity to get an employer? So that's what we always advise people. Study, take a course which is marketable. And while you are still in school, try to look for avenues of getting job or improving yourself to be a desirable to an employer. And upon graduation, with bachelor's degree, there are options available. There is H-1B visa. That is temporary for people with a bachelor's degree. And of course, there is also other visas for skilled workers. They are called EB3. That one gives you an option to get green card. So you can pursue all those. For those who have done a PhD, and the outstanding scholars and all that, they can petition for themselves through something we call national interest waiver. So even if they don't have an employer who is willing to petition for them, they can apply through national interest waiver, and they get a green card. So there is that green card available for skilled workers who have gone to school. And I can also tell you that there's also green card available for people who are unskilled. It's EB3. There is some visas available which gives them an opportunity to apply for green card. However, it's not easy. The process is hard, it's difficult, it's very involving. It's called PAM processing. And then you can apply for green card. Now, again, our people a lot of them have applied for EB3 visas. And how do you do? I think I've seen so many flyers circulating. If you have paid tax for 2 years, you have a social security card, and you have a letter from your employer, we are going to file for a green card for you. And you get those three, whatever stamps, you give again these agents. And this one has also gone not only to Kenyans, but also people from other countries. And then they file for you I-140, and they file for 485, and then you're waiting for green card. And of course, with that green card, they file for travel document and all that. Unfortunately, they are not going through the process, what is supposed to happen. PAM processing, you have to do things like we call prevailing wage conditions, all those. It's a lengthy process, because at the end of the day, we will have to eventually show the government that there are no other equal Americans who are willing to get that job. So it's happening, and a lot of them, people are filing for them, and they all have these pending cases, and they are thinking that they will get that. However, there is no labor certification, and once the few who are lucky to get it's called from I-140 approved, then their green card cannot be approved because they have accumulated illegal stay here. Most of them have been lied to that if you have applied for asylum, you have a pending asylum, you are in legal status. No, you're not in legal status. You are in lawful. You are lawfully in the United States when you file for asylum. So you are lawfully allowed to stay in the United States as they adjudicate your case. But you are not in status. So a lot of those people, I know in the coming few months, some few I-140 will be approved, and then they are not able to get 485 approved. So they will have wasted their 4,000. I think they're being charged 4,000. They'll have wasted their 4,000. So I will say there are visas available. There's green card available even for these health workers, not even nurses, even those who are not nurses. However, before you attempt to do that, you have to ensure you sit down with a lawyer who will guide you, who will put it in writing that you are eligible on basis of 1, 2, 3. Because a lot of people are themselves into those EB3 cases. However, the lawyers or the agents who are doing these things, they know very well that you will not get green card. So you can get the petition approved, but you won't get your application for green card approved. And that's what is bringing all these problems. So opportunities are there if one is willing to follow the right procedures.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Wakili. Asante sana Njoki Ndhuo from Birmingham, Alabama. Unaniambia unatuwatch. You are saying this is good topic. Stacey Njeri Shege, keep up. I missed work in America. Thank you. Ben Benjiro. How can I check whether my application went through? Please. Okay. Mase Muigai, about asylum, talk about parole. Haya. Hedu Grega, give us Wakili's WhatsApp number. Wakili number nimeiweka hapo iko. Thank you very much, but of course you can talk to him later, not now that he's in the studio. Terian Nyaka unasema uko huku. Thank you. Penny Karemi, my house manager got his green card in 2 years, but he was never giving an appointment. Please help them with advice. My house manager got his green card in 2 years, but he was never giving an appointment. Haya, sikuelewa hiyo swali vizuri. Haya, Auntie Pia Lance unasema uko kule UK, Europe. Sure, asante. Did I watch an interview you had with Jeremy where you said one cannot win a green card while in the US? I know someone who won some time back. Haya, sijui hiyo anasema mtu wale wako hapa Amerika. Unajua kuna watu wanakujanga hapa Amerika wakati green card inachezwa, wanajaza pia. Are there disadvantage and advantage? That's a question, a good question. Damaris Gadhira, haya asante sana. And then Rose Woi Mitao, unasema uko upande wa Germany. Thank you very, very, very much. Nafikiria Wakili, hebu kwanza guzia hiyo maswali kidogo. Hiyo ya nini? Watu wakiwa hapa kucheza green card.
I am very sure we never at any one point said you cannot win a green card while you're in the US. Mm-hmm. I've represented clients who have won green card while in the US. So when you apply for DV lottery, you can be in the US or you can be outside. It doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. The processing is what now will count. When you can either you can process it in the United States through a process called adjustment of status. It has got its advantages and disadvantages. Mm-hmm. Or you can process it through the Kenya embassy, through now the consular processing. Mm-hmm. You can go back to Kenya and process it. However, the catch is, if you are in the United States and you have overstayed for more than 180 days without status, you will not be eligible. Yes, you'll be selected, everything will go on, but you will not be able to get a green card because you have overstayed. So if you are an accumulated overstay of over 180 days, you will not get it. Then there was somebody who filed for husband and did not go for interview. Yes. Luckily, our government is really trying to. After COVID, there was very huge backlog. So a lot of cases are getting interviews being waived. So for a long time, the policies has been that if you're applying for a green card based on family, spousal green card application, you had to attend interview at your field office. This is being waived. For the last 1 year, mm-hmm. we have had a lot of clients who are getting green card without interview. However, they still have to set evidence of good faith marriage. So we are receiving a lot of requests for evidence from the government, mm-hmm. where they are requesting people to submit evidence of good faith marriage. Mm-hmm. And those who had not submitted medical report, okay, they are requested to submit them. And once they submit, it's reviewed. And a lot of them are getting interviews waiver, which is a commendable job by Joe Biden government. They are doing that and we are liking it. The other question was about advanced parole with asylum. Advanced parole allows somebody to travel temporarily out of the United States on an emergency. So when you apply for asylum, one of the things you are seeing is that your life is in danger in your home country. So if you have applied for asylum, because my life is in danger in Kenya, and then I apply for advanced parole to go to Kenya, it's not going to add up. And the danger is, if you ever look at that advanced parole, it's very clear that you are not guaranteed to be admitted into the United States. So if you travel with advanced parole and you come back you can be denied entry at the airport. There's no guarantee. So it remains my opinion that if you have a pending asylum, it's risky to travel with advance parole. And I can tell you, as an attorney, we decide a client want to do something, and we on our own, we make our own decision. I do not want to subject any of my clients to the dangers of advance parole if they have a pending asylum. So I normally do not apply for advance parole for my asylum clients. I only apply for advance parole for those people who have applied for green card, because I know there won't be issues and they will come back. But for asylum, I'm always hesitant to apply for advance parole, and I normally tell my clients that only travel with advance parole if it's a must. For example, you may lose a family member and you say, hey, I'm going to travel with this advance parole. If they don't allow me to come back into the US, I'm okay with it. So unless you are in such a position whereby you're saying it's okay even if you're not allowed to come back, well and good, you can travel with advance parole. But if you're not ready to say that, don't travel with it.
Wow, by the way, hapo umesema kukatazwa kuingia. Let me just ask this because nimesikia watu wengi sana, hata kuna mtu alikuwa hapo tu Seattle akafikiria arudi nyumbani. By the time he was coming back, alikatazwa kuingia. Sasa he had to go back to Kenya. Now kuna watu wengi sana hata huwa wanapewa visiting visa. Mtu anakuja anatembea anarudi nyumbani on time, habadilishi visa yake, time yake haharibu. But now a time anakuja anakutana na ofisa mwingine hapo, anamwambia hapana, hatukukubalishi kuingia, urudi nyumbani. Na anarudi nyumbani na visa yake inawekwa cancel. So my question is this, can someone appeal? And how long does it take?
Yes, you can write, you can try to appeal with whomever cancelled it. However, you know, visa is not a right. Especially those visitor visas. It's not a right. It's given at the discretion of the consular officer. So if the CBP custom officers at the port of entry have got reasonable ground to suspect that you are an intending immigrant. You're coming as a visitor, but your intention is to immigrate, they will not allow you to come here. And once they cancel it at the embassy, I'm yet to see one which has been reinstated. Yes, you can appeal, but I can honestly say I'm yet to see one which has been reinstated.
Thank you very much wakili. Na niko na question hapa kabla tuingie kwa ile issue yetu ya mwisho ya mileage. Hiyo nataka tuongee tukimaliza. I know nimechukua muda wako zaidi, but allow me nitakuuliza hiyo kuhusu mileages, sababu kuna watu wengi sana hapa, mtu anataka kuoa mtu, well maybe you are married, you divorced, ama labda hujawahi oa, uko hapa na mtu wako ako nchi nyingine, maybe UK, Kenya, Saudi Arabia ama mahali kwingine. Kuna njia nyepesi ya kufanya huyo mpenzi wako afike hapa, muane hapa, ama ni wewe uende? Kwa sababu kuna mtu nimesikia ameenda Kenya, amefanya harusi, now 2 years down the line bibi hajawahi kubalishwa kukuja America, hajawahi pata hii visa. I mean, what is your advice? Utatuambia hiyo. But before then, watoto wengi, kuna watu walikuja hapa miaka mingi imepita, hawako out of status, hawana barua za kutembea, lakini walipata watoto, they are citizen here. So mtoto anaweza fairia mzazi wake lini? How soon can that happen?
Yeah, they can do it. A US citizen can file for their parents, but the child must be at least 21 years. So the determining age is 21 years, not 18 years. I know a lot of people have filed at 18 years. No, can't. It has to be 21 years.
Na hiyo 21 years, at least most of them get, right? Most of the people, most of the parents wanapata hiyo.
Yes, quite a majority will get, because you have evidence that this is your child, and so I-130 will be approved. The only issue which arises with those kind of cases, the one I have seen, has mostly been with forced claim to US citizenship. Because now what is happening with a lot of such applicants is that because they are so confident that their case is straightforward, they don't seek any legal advice. And when they don't seek legal advice, they get some aspects of whereby they reveal that they lied, that were a US citizen to get a job. And it's happening a lot. And anytime you are caught having lied that you are US citizen to get a job or for whatever benefit, it's called false claim. You've ever had false claim to US citizenship, you cannot get green card. So for those parents who have been here for quite a while and their kids are already 21 years, the biggest thing I tell them is to look as to whether they at one point say they are US citizen. Because if they did, then that will come to bite them.
All right. Christopher Wachira, my case petition has been documentary complete since April 2022. And VC keeps indicating that a date is being set up for an interview in Nairobi. Is there a way to know when such date is likely to be? Ni kama ile kesi ya mamangu. I think ni wewe ulinisaidia, by the way. Ilikuwa tu kama hiyo. I mean, we are still waiting for the consulate in Nairobi to give you an interview date.
Mr. Wachira, I would say that you're not lucky, because that is 2022. That's so recent. However ironical that is, we have some cases which got documentary qualified in 2020, and others 2021, and they are still waiting. So the issue has been backlog. There is huge backlog in our embassies. Huge backlog. Every time we write to them, they are telling us about backlog. So tugojee tu, but in case you feel you have enough grounds which would lead to expedite, if there are some serious humanitarian reasons which makes you feel that any further delay would cause a lot of harm and huge losses, you can always contact an attorney and you can discuss about expediting. But it has to be a real emergency or real humanitarian consideration, because you do not want your request for expedite with some facts which are not accurate. Then you go to the embassy, you are denied your case because of having lied to the US government. Yeah. So it's possible to expedite, but as of now, you still have got a little bit wait.
Okay. Thank you Janet Juliet Waithanje, asante guka wa flyover, thengi muno kauga na ngojea kujibiwa hiyo ya marriage. Haya, Rima John, hello, thank you. My friend Janet Nyakura, to whoever okay, thank you. Producer King Simon unasema these are the topics I want at this time. Kwanza tukiona ni Mkenya mwenzangu anatupa mashauri. Thank you. Rose Woye Mitao unasema uko ndani. So now let's come to this wakili, na ndio tutamaliza nayo kuhusu sasa marriage. Mtu wa dia na mtu wako, na nimekuuliza hapo, nafikiri sitasema nikirudia. Let's go on.
So, as a US citizen, you can file for your spouse. You can petition for them, whether they are in the country or outside the country. As a US citizen, you can petition for your fiancé when they're outside the country, and they can come here with something we call PI visa. And then upon entering into the United States, you have to get married within 90 days, and you apply for a green card. So for those who are wondering whether their husband should come into the US and apply for a green card or they should not, well, what I would say is if they already have a visa, it's quicker if they are here in the United States. However, if they are planning to apply for a visa, then they have to be cautious. Cautious in a way that in the visa application, they must be truthful. There's a question which asks whether you have immediate relatives in the US. So if you're already married and your wife is in the US, you have to indicate that your wife is in the US. If your wife has already petitioned for you, you also have to include in that visa application that your wife has petitioned for you. Now you leave it to the embassy to decide whether to give you a visa or not to come as a visitor. If you fail to do that and your visa is denied, the petition is later approved here in the US, you'll go all the way. Once you go for the green card interview at the embassy, they will pull out the other application you had done for visa, and they will say you lied in that and you don't get visa. So all I will say, people have to be patient. Once you petition, this thing used to take less than a year. Now it's taking a little bit more than that. So as soon as the backlog, I believe once the backlog is dispensed with, there will be no more processing. As to when this will happen, we got no idea or indication when this will happen. For again, if your spouse is outside of the country and you have some compelling reasons why the case should be expedited, we can always seek your case to be expedited, and the officer will review the facts of why it should be expedited, and if they agree with you, you'll get an expedite interview and your spouse may join you quickly. For those whose spouses are here, of course you can go ahead and file for them. And one of the things you have to ensure, you have to first look as to what the spouse said when they were at the embassy. You have to ensure that there's no discrepancy between what the spouse is saying today and what the spouse said at the embassy. Because again, if there's discrepancy, they'll say you got your visa through fraud and you not get green card. For those who went to the embassy and they say they're married, and now they come back here, they forget they were married, they marry again, and once you ask them, they tell you that.
Aya, naona watu wameanza kupigia wakili simu.
Nyingine imeingia kwa iPad. So for those who came here, they went to the embassy, they say they are married. Once you get to US, you forget you're married, or you now remember your marriage was not registered, or you remember it was traditional marriage that you get married. Please, before you attempt to get married in the US, consult a lawyer so that you can see how to deal with that issue of you having said at the embassy you are married.
Asante sana. Thank you very much wakili. Nao tukimalizia kabisa, kuna watu wamenipigia simu wakaniambia mtoto yake alikuja America 20 years ago, hajawahi muona. Mwingine aliniambia mzee wake aliingia, hajawahi muona, not only America, hata UK, hata kwingine. There are those people who think watu wakikuja huku kutoka Kenya wanapotea, wanaenda wapi, hawapati, hajawahi rudi nyumbani. Sasa unaweza waambia what is the reason why? Kwa nini watu wanaenda tu chini wakili? I mean, mtu harudi nyumbani, hana development, halikwamia hapa. I mean, hebu ongea na wazazi kwa sababu wanakuona sahi na watu wao na my brothers.
Well, one of the biggest problem why people disappear is because Ricky G has not yet worked in the US. You know, Ricky G is fighting alcoholism in Kenya. In the US, there is no an equivalent of him. So we have a lot of young people who come here for school. They drop out of school. They engage themselves in drugs and alcohol abuse. And they are ashamed of having any further communication with their people. So that is one of the major reasons why a lot of them are running away from their family, because they came here, they became what we may call wrecks, and majority of them, they are barely surviving in the United States. So that's why a lot of them go into hiding. How to address that? Just you have to look for people who are in the US who can try to reach out to that son or daughter and address the underlying issue, which might be drugs or alcoholism. For those who are losing their husbands and wives, all I will say is, while you are with your husband or wife, just ensure that your relationship is in a way that your wife will miss you or your husband will miss you. So once they get here, they will not run away. But if you are in a relationship where you are just tolerating each other, I know it's not in my place to talk about issues of marriage, because there are people who are qualified, who are trained in that field, but I know they will agree with me that a lot of marriages, people are tolerating each other. If you're a man somewhere in Kenya and you used to be so abusive, the minute your wife will get into the US and they hear there is freedom, she can sleep for 1 whole week without a kichapo. Don't expect her to come back. Again, if your wife and you used to fight with your husband all the time, the minute he comes to US, there are so many women who are looking for men like that. And that's why some of them disappear like that. So this is not an issue, this is not a legal issue, it's a moral issue, which I believe those within the society who are trained in those matters should be the one to help address, including our churches should help address those, because it's purely a moral issue, because there's breakages in homes, it's very rampant, and how we bring up our kids also is also playing a major role. Jeremy, I'm very sure you are aware of not only kids, like the one who mentioned about kids who are here and their parents are back in Kenya. It's happening while kids are here and the parents are here. Because the kids will come here, they get into drugs and they fall out with their family who are right here in the United States. So it's a major problem which should be handled by those who are qualified to do it. I believe lawyers are the least qualified in that.
Wow. Thank you muno. Asante sana wakili. Na I mean, sijui I can appreciate you namna gani. Just telling you thank you, may God bless you. Kutupatia almost 2 hours zako, I know is not a joke. Najua mnalipagwa pesa mingi sana. Sijui ni kwa an hour ama ni per case, lakini I appreciate you brother. Thank you very much for helping our people. Sasa mtu akitaka kukuona, isipokuwa hii namba nimeweka hapa. Unajua wengine wananiambia nimepigia Wakiri wa Joy. Ni nani anastahili kukupigia? That's question number 1. Nani anastahili kukupigia?
All I'll say, anyone who has got a legal issue, you are free to call me. That number you're seeing here, there is my direct line. Is this one I'm holding here? It comes direct to me. And I'll answer as many as I can. Unfortunately, I'm not able to answer all of them. So I'll do the best I can to answer most of them. I also have another number. It's I don't know whether I give it there, Jeremy.
Yeah, ni gani?
It's 919 578.
1 minute. Wacha niwaandikie. Umesema ni 9
19 578
578
3691.
3691.
That's my landline. If you call within office hours, it will get to my assistants and they will connect you with me.
Awesome. So just in case upigie Wakiri umkose, upige landline iko hapa, na I'm just trying to see how kwenye naweza kukuwekea ndio at least ukimkosa na hiyo yake nimeweka hapo. Hiyo ndio nampataga nayo, hiyo Anthony wa Joy hii iko hapa, ndio nampatanga nayo. Lakini just in case umkose, you can also call this number right there, nimeandika hapo 919 578 3691. Pia yeye utampata. Thank you very much Wakiri. Nashukuru sana.
Karibu.
God bless you na Mungu akubariki na kuongezea masiku. Kuna mtu kabla hujaenda, kuna mtu anaitwa Timothy Washira. Anauliza, "Hi Wakiri, what if I come with B1 or B2 visa, then I change to student visa? Can that one help?"
Yes, it can help, and quite a lot of people are doing that. Yes, it's possible. Yes.
Okay.
And it's advisable. Instead of falling out of status, it's advisable to go to school.
Okay. Thank you very much Wakiri. Kuwa na siku njema. Nimeshukuru sana. Asante sana.
Asante. Thank you, bye.
Thank you. Huyo anaitwa Wakiri Wanjohi, well from North Carolina. Na huwa anatembea states zote. So if you are here in the US, uliingia jana, you have been here. Kesi zako kama venye umesikia, kuna watu wanaenda tu wanapelekwa mali, huwa anaweza kufailia asylum, you just go there. Bridely unatengenezewa tu story yenye imetengenezewa another 1,000 people. My friend, utasucceed namna gani? Just get someone who is willing to help. Usikwanze wenda huko alafu ukuje sasa atakuwa na gazi gumu sana ya kutatua hizo makosa ulifanya. So it's always good to go to the right person. Wanjohi, nimekuwekea namba yake hapo, wacha nikuwekee tena ndio angalau ukimhitaji umpate. That is the number right there. 919-641-1293. Talk to him, SMS him. Most of the time anakuanga kwa koti, so ukimkosa na simu useme achukue, wewe muandikie text, muambie ulimuona kwa Adamari na ungetaka akusaidie ABCD, especially wale wako hapa America. Kama uko Kenya na huna visa, I don't think unastahili kumpigia. Sasa utampigia, utamsubua tu bure. Not unless uko na njia ya kukuja, ama unataka kufairiwa na mtoto wako, ama mtoto wako anataka kukufairia. That's simple. Thank you very much guys. I love you so much. From Birmingham, Alabama. Mimi namba yangu si mnaijua tu. Hata hiyo iko hapo, ni namba yangu. Asante sana. My friend Auntie Pia Lance, thank you very much. Asante. Mereka Guadha unasema, those who run away were looking for a way out from their significant other. Yes, most get lost in drugs and alcohol, and most just ignore their family members. It's all about how you related back then. Asante sana. Janet Nyakarura, thank you for that legal advice. Virginia Mremi from California anasema, that is a very important information Wakiri. Asante sana nyinyi wote ambao umetutazama hata kwa upande wa Facebook. Ben Wajiro, thank you nyinyi wote. God bless you. God bless you all the way from Birmingham, Alabama. Mimi nasema asanteni sana. Nitakuacha na wimbo iko hapa. Imeimbwa na, acha nione niko na wimbo ya nani hapa. Imeimbwa na Ruth Shiros. Haya.